Well, hello. This is my first official day of being a juror, where I need to be one of 12 people altogether, and we have to determine whether or not the person is guilty or not. And back here is the courthouse, where my finger is. That's where I'm going, down into the valley. That's El Cajon Valley, by the way. I'm up in the hillside here of El Cajon. I was trying to get some exercise in, a little bit, a nice little walk in the hillside before going down there. But that's what I need to do. I need to get myself all ready, go down there, and be a juror. I have been an alternative juror twice in the past, which is interesting, but you never get to finish unless you're called on to be a juror. This is the first time I'm being a juror where I can help determine whether someone is innocent or guilty. And I'm looking forward to it. A lot of people try to get out of jury duty. I'm always honest. And honestly, I'm glad I get to try this. Not just try it, I get to actually be involved in it. So, of course, I can't talk about the specifics, but the experience, I can talk about that. And so I will continue to talk about that in my little musings of the moment. Have yourself a great day, and try not to find yourself in a courthouse, right? Main Street, El Cajon, California, where the courthouse is, Civic Center, downtown restaurants. Here at Civic Center. And the courthouse, ready for the day to begin. So I'm just arriving now, and the actual trial begins today, where the prosecution starts to present its evidence, and then probably tomorrow there'll be more of that. And in theory, on the third or fourth day, we, the jurors, will get to deliberate. That's what we're told so far. That's what I know about the process. Let's see what actually happens. Of course, I can't tell you any details, but I can tell you how I feel. I feel tired this morning, but that's normal. I'm still excited to be a juror, in the sense that I've never had to do it before, and I'm looking forward to being part of the process and to find out whether the person is guilty or not guilty. I'm looking forward to that deliberation. Talk to you later. And so, the very first day of jury duty went, and it ended. The prosecution showed their evidence, and they continued to show evidence for the next day or so. And then the defense came in after that with their witnesses and evidence. And then it was given to the jurors to make decisions. So all those details, just can't share with you. The only thing I can share with you is the theme The accused was accused of driving under the influence of alcohol, DUI. That was the accusation. And I will tell you the result soon as I talk about my experience. But I just want to say, please, if you feel like drinking, no problem, just don't drive. Have someone who is not a drinker or has not drunk anything to drive you home or wherever you got to go. Or call Uber or Lyft or a taxi or someone else you trust who can pick you up. And if you don't have any of that, just don't drive. Just stay where you're at until you sober up.
My daughter Patty, at age 10, this is her picture, was the youngest child killed in the nation's deadliest drunk driving crash. A repeat offender drunk driver crashed head-on into a church bus, and the result of the ensuing fire was the death of 27 people.
Well, my husband and I were headed home when we were rear-ended by a young man who thought he could drink and drive, and our car toppled over, and the kids and I were thrown out. My husband got out of the car with one shoe and burned the meat from his hands, trying to extinguish our flames. My 19-month-old nephew was burned 90%, and he lived for 6 hours. My 4-year-old daughter lived for 2 weeks. They took my unborn child by an emergency C-section in hopes that she would at least make it, and she did make it, but as a result, she's legally blind. I did make it, but I've had years of therapy, years of surgery. I suffered a broken neck, and miraculously, I was only 1/4 inch, they said, of being totally paralyzed.
This is Helen Marie, who was killed on a bright and sunny afternoon, June 1st of the year 2000, rollerblading on a bike path when she was run down by a drunk and marijuana-impaired 17-year-old girl.
This picture is of two of my sons, and of course, the youngest of them all was the one that was involved in a crash, or he really was a pedestrian.
My sister and her baby were killed in 1984 at 1:45 on a beautiful sunny Wednesday afternoon on their way home from a doctor's appointment.
Our daughter, Alyssa Joy Withers, was 15 years old when she was killed by a drunk driver. He was an underage driver. He lost control of the car because he was impaired and because he was speeding. As a result, Alyssa was a passenger and she was killed.
What they don't see when they choose to party, when they choose to celebrate and get intoxicated, what they don't see is the victim side, what we have to go through, the result of those who are making the wrong choice to drink and drive.
I can't tell you how much my son meant to me. It was a senseless death that didn't have to happen. All it took was someone to think just a few more seconds and realize.
You never get over the heartbreak of your children.
Drunk impaired driving is the #1 killer on our highways.
It can happen to anybody, anytime, including the impaired driver.
It's easily prevented by just not getting behind the wheel. And I know it sounds simple, just make the right choice the next time, and every time.
It's 100% preventable.
We've been working for 40 years almost, and every time we hear of another victim's story, it breaks our heart. It shouldn't be happening. There's enough ways for people to get transportation.
The bottom line is that impaired driving is still as much of an issue today as it was when MAD started in the early 80s. We're still losing 10,000 Americans as a result of someone who is making the wrong choice to drink and drive.
Now my work is in her name, and she would be there saying, "Mother, say something, do something." And MAD has given me the platform to do just that. And that's why I'm here.
Well, here I am on break, lunch break, which is an hour and a half for jury duty. And I decided to take some time to drive up to the top of Mount Helix, which is in La Mesa, which is next door to El Cajon. Top of the mountain gives you views of the entire San Diego area, all the way from the ocean downtown San Diego where the skyscrapers are, Coronado Bridge, and also views of the East County where I have spent most of my time in San Diego County, including the cities of La Mesa, Santee, El Cajon, Lakeside, Lemon Grove, and Spring Valley. And beyond that, of course, are the mountain communities such as Campo, Mount Laguna, Julian, and more. There is a plaque here, of course, at this park called Mount Helix, and it says, Mount Helix Nature Theater for the inspiration and use of the people, lovingly dedicated to the memory of their mother, Mary Carpenter Yockey, who loved this mountain summit and the inspiring view by Cyrus Carpenter Yonkey and Mary Yonkey White. This is Easter 1925. So this plaque has been here for a little while, about 100, well, yeah, basically 100 years. And it commemorates Mount Helix and this theater, natural theater, outdoor theater that they have here. And beyond that, the views of the East County, including way over here. The reason why I'm out today, there, that direction, there it is, the East County Regional Center Courthouse. That's where I'm doing my jury duty. Anyway, this is lunchtime. This is my 90-minute break for lunch. It's kind of long, but the lawyers say they need it. The judge says she needs it, so we get 90 minutes. So I'm enjoying being out here in nature for a little while before I have to go back to do civic duty stuff. And I'm just panning from the top of Mount Helix. And down here is El Cajon. And over here in the center is the East County Regional Center, Civic Center, courthouses of San Diego County, Superior Court of California. That's where I'm serving jury duty, except right now it's a 90-minute lunch. So it's lunchtime, and I decided to eat lunch at the top of Mount Helix, which is a little park here in the hills of La Mesa, right above the valley of El Cajon. Well, lunch is over and back to courthouse. As a juror, I expect our jury team to probably come to a verdict today. And so I need to go back into the courthouse. So I'm walking there to see if this is indeed the final day of jury duty. So, jury duty ends today. All of us have made our decision, found the defendant guilty. So, Civic Center, parking lot, day is over. And I thought this is a nice shot. Look it. Interesting. Interesting. Anyway. Jury service is over. And now I'm free to go about my normal stuff. The defendant, we don't know what happened to the defendant. It's up to the judge what punishment is doled out. But we did find the defendant guilty, and now we get to move on with our lives. Hopefully you'll never have to be a defendant, but if so, hopefully you have a good attorney who can show that the prosecution is wrong, or the prosecution is not so good that they can't do anything for you. But in this case, the prosecution made their case better than the defendant, attorney of the defendant. So based upon what we saw, we had to say guilty. Que sera, que sera.
Before I leave the East County Regional Center, this is the Magnolia. I just want you to take a look at this. This is a great venue for concerts. My wife and I, Patricia and David Moravee, went to see our favorite group there, the Mavericks, at the Magnolia recently, and I want to share with you a little bit of that musical experience, and hope you'll enjoy. This is a good way to end jury duty. Have some fun.
Everybody take care. Adios. Adios. Bye.